It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
What is up, heroes of Dominion? My name is Charlie. This is Hero Wars Central, and in today's video, I want to talk about what heroes work well with Orion. Now, if this is your first time watching me on YouTube or joining us in our community, I do informational, educational YouTube videos for Hero Wars and Herowarsmobile, mostly for new players, but there is some mid-level and high-end stuff as well. If that sounds like you, please consider subscribing. I give away free skins and portal stones and all kinds of loot every week, both for the mobile and the Facebook and web platforms, so keep an eye out for those. So when it comes to Orion, and the reason why I'm doing this is Orion has an event currently active right now on Herowarsmobile, and I am recording this on Facebook as I have every hero active here on Facebook, except for the of course Corvus and Morgan. When it comes to Orion, you have a pretty straightforward team that everybody knows about, and that's the Dorian, Orion, Helios team. There is no arguing that this isn't a strong team. I don't want to call it a meta team, but it is pretty effective given the opportunity to swap out your front end. You can use just about any tank and just about any other support, and these three back here will do very well for a very long time. All right, but I don't want to talk about those teams today. We might do the Team Fight Tuesday using this team, but I don't want to talk about this team in particular today. I want to talk about some heroes to level up with Orion. Now, first of all, I want to state that Corvus, the new tank on mobile, is a strong tank choice. I did a video yesterday talking about why Orion and Corvus combo well together, and if you want to see my thoughts on that, please check out that video. I don't want to repeat myself in this video, so go check that video out. But whenever you're talking about Orion, there really is only 2 to 3 tank choices. So let's start with everybody's favorite, Astaroth. Now, aside from the fact that he's completely countered by Morgan now on mobile, Astaroth is still probably the best overall tank in the game. Astaroth provides a revive to your squishy damage dealers, and nobody else does that. Burns a little bit of the enemy's energy, protects a friendly ally with a little bit, and just all around is a strong defensive tank. Not the best tank as far as stats are concerned, but as far as skills, probably the best overall tank in the game. The other tank option that you're going to find yourself using a lot with Orion is Aurora, and the main reason why a lot of people use Aurora is because the majority of Aurora's skills are magic based. And one thing that Orion does well is provide armor penetration. One of Orion's skills allows him to basically keep his ultimate active most of the fight, which means that his armor penetration, his magic penetration artifact is going to be up for most of the fight. So any other mage or any other hero that does magical attack damage is going to be very strong. And Aurora has a bunch of really strong abilities. She's got her magic defense shell that she uses. It's not magic defense stat. It's absorb magic damage and then reflect it back on the front line. Her ultimate is an area of effect magic attack. She's just got magic attack skills oozing all over the place. That didn't sound great. So Aurora is probably one of the best options to pair with Orion. Probably one of the best. I mentioned Astaroth, Aurora. Now the other one is Cleaver. Now Cleaver is generally respected as a decent tank, and the reason why I'm going to put Cleaver in here is because some teams with Orion use Peppy. And I'll show you some of those teams in a little while. But since Peppy doesn't provide her own magic penetration, she's a nice pairing with Orion. And the combo of Peppy and Cleaver, you can pretty well stick any other team in there and it'll work, such as the Dorian, Orion, Helios team or other variants. So I would only use Cleaver if I was using Peppy. But even then, in some instances, Peppy Aurora is strong. In fact, a strong Peppy Aurora will counter a strong Cleaver Peppy. Interesting combo idea there. So you got the 3 tanks in mind. I'm going to stick with Aurora for the most part, just because I'm in love with Aurora right now, especially on Facebook. But on mobile, she's pretty strong too. So who would you pair with Orion? Well, like I mentioned already, you've got a strong damage dealing output hero in Orion. He provides your team magic penetration. Let's put other mages with him. Okay, so maybe you put in Satori. Maybe you put in Satori for some damage. Maybe you put in, and I like this idea a lot, maybe you use Arachne. Arachne is much better on mobile than she is on Facebook. However, she is a highly effective control hero. All of her abilities are magic damage. In fact, one of her main abilities does a ton of damage up to the front. She's got a nice bit of control to. She does really well against some Kark teams. But Arachne is no longer the noob trap that she used to be. This is a nice little pairing. Maybe you throw Nebula in between them. You add a tank and a healer, and you're done. You have a hero that you get from day one from the hero promotion that you get, within the first 12 hours of starting the game. You have Orion, which is, easily purchased from the merchant or the vendor, and then you save up and buy Nebula from the Guild War merchant, or Tournament of the Elements on Facebook, and you have a really solid core. Throw in a tank and a healer of your choice. It could be Thea, it could be Martha, it could be anybody, and you have a solid team there. Other mages that are really effective to pair with Orion could be, you could throw in Jorgen, even though it's not really a mage. This is a nice control hero. One of the other popular mages that you can use is Celeste. Celeste is a hybrid mage healer, actually healer control, I should say. Kind of the same situation. Throw her on either side of Nebula from Orion. You have Orion that's going to keep magic penetration up constantly, and then you have Celeste, who has a magic attack artifact, who has also a unique ability to spam her ultimate ability, given that her ultimate only costs half the energy. So now you have permanent energy uptime. Permanent magic attack uptime, paired with permanent magic penetration uptime. This is a solid combo as well. And if you took advantage of the purchased promotion for Celeste right when you started the game, this is also an easy team to build. Also an extremely easy team to build. Okay, you can swap out Nebula for just about any other support hero. Sebastian, if you're facing stuns and curses or other debuffs. You can use, like I mentioned, Jorgen in there. You could even use, I don't know. You could throw in like a Maya. Well, Maya goes in front, so that's not a good idea. So good opportunity there. Okay, another common team that I'm seeing a bunch of on mobile. I got this from the off-meta Discord. Let's see, here it is. So Faceless and Phobos are being used quite effectively in, here we go. Faceless and Phobos are being used quite effectively with the undead teams. A lot of the off-meta Discord are using this team. And the reason why I like this team so much is Phobos has two abilities that attacks the front line of the enemies, and Orion does his ultimate, his magic damage ultimate to the enemies with the highest health, which is usually those heroes in the front line. So, excuse me. And then you have Faceless, who provides more magic penetration as well as copying ability, as well as his own magic attacks. So this is a nice, solid mage core, maybe one that you wouldn't think of. Also, pretty inexpensive to build. You probably want to save your Faceless for your Kark team if you're trying to build a traditional Kark team. Then I can totally understand that. All right, so I already mentioned Peppy. Who else could we use? We could use a Heidi Maya core. Let's see. Nice little team combo there. You've got Maya, who does a ton of damage output while providing some healing, and then you have Heidi, who is able to avoid a lot of attacks, but also does a ton of poison damage, especially on mobile. Heidi, with her mobile rework, does not get the respect that she deserves. A strong Heidi right now on mobile will kill the center of your team before you know what happens, right? Does a lot of pure damage, so it doesn't really benefit too much from Orion's magic penetration, but still a good little pairing. So lots of good damage dealing pairings with Orion. Really, any mage, any hero that you look at that has a skill that does magic attack damage. Leon, Lars Krista, you could throw in there. I mentioned Phobos, Heidi. You could potentially use Mojo even. I'm not sure that I would, but you could. I mentioned Arachne. You could use Judge. Judge would be an interesting option. I don't know that I would use him, but you could. And just a lot of fun opportunity here. A lot of fun opportunity here. One of my good buddies, Arcana, is trying to figure out if Orion Lilith team could be worth it. I don't know. Who knows? So as far as healers, everybody knows about Martha, right? Martha would not be a bad choice for a healer in here. Okay, Martha is one of the better overall healers. I think Dorian is slightly better with Orion because Dorian sits right next to Orion, and anytime you have an opportunity to run Dorian and put him next to your primary damage dealer, it's a solid choice. And of course, it is 1/3 of the Dorian Orion Helios core. And the reason why Dorian provides a vampirism aura to nearby allies, and those allies gain additional vampirism whenever they deal damage. Effective, very effective. Okay. But finally, one hero that I think is completely being ignored right now is Thea. I think Thea is a very strong healer. I don't think people give her enough credit, because whenever you get her and until you level her up, she seems pretty weak, but that's because all heroes are weak until you level them up. Thea provides a team or an enemy silence for the enemy team. She provides a speed up for whenever your allies get low in health. She's got great healing, very fast healing, much faster healing than Martha. The overall healing, you're going to win with Martha, but faster healing, Thea is the better choice. So good opportunity there. So let's talk about some teams. Let's leave Thea in here. Let's do that Satori team that I mentioned earlier. This could be a fun team opportunity. Not too difficult to build, especially if you're on mobile. If you're on mobile, you can get Satori from the Highwayman shop. If you're on Facebook, this team is going to be much harder to build. Easy team to build overall. You could go, let's leave Nebula in there, and let's go with Cleaver and Arachne and Peppy. So you have the, this team's using Dorian for some reason. So I got a lot of these teams from Arcana as well. So you have Cleaver yanking the enemy to get clustered up. You have Arachne that loves to stun enemies that are clustered up. And then you have Nebula, who's boosting your Arachne and your Orion. And of course you have Dorian, who is providing the heals. Very solid team. Pretty difficult team to build. Dorian's hard to get on both Facebook and on mobile. You have to get him from the chest or from an event. And Orion, if you didn't get her from the beginning promotion right when you first started the game, she's a chest-only hero. Same with Cleaver. So you have 3 chest-only heroes. This team's going to be kind of hard to build. Let's see what else we got. Let's try another Astaroth team. We got Astaroth. I mentioned Celeste. We can go with Nebula, and in this instance, we were going to use Faceless. Here we go. So this is another interesting setup. I don't know that I like this one as much. With your Faceless exposed in the back, you're weak to enemy Jews, enemy cleavers, but that's okay. Same situation. Your Celeste does a ton of damage while providing some healing. Not a very strong healer by herself, but maybe it's enough to get by. Nebula supporting Orion and Celeste. Celeste providing magic attack for your whole team. Every hero on here is benefiting from magic attack. Orion providing magic penetration for your whole team. Every hero on here, with the exception of Nebula, to an extent, is benefiting from magic penetration. Faceless is already providing magic penetration as well. Very strong team setup here. And like I mentioned earlier, anytime you're using Nebula or a hero like Celeste, if you have another hero, anytime you're using Nebula, you can sub Nebula out for other support heroes as you need, right? Maybe you do that. Maybe you throw in Thea because you need more healing. Maybe you throw in Leon because you're trying to counter some area of effect attacks. A lot of good choices here. Let's go back to Aurora. Where's my Aurora? Here we go. We have Aurora, Maya, Heidi. Now this one I'm not really too sure about. Maya, Heidi, and Dorian. So this one right here has the solid Dorian Orion combo here, but the Maya Heidi, I personally haven't leveled these heroes up too much, but across the board you still have the same kind of situation. You're providing dodge for your whole team with Aurora, and you already have Heidi, who's a high dodge hero. Heidi might end up being the best damage dealer in this team when it all comes down to it, because of the amount of damage output that he can do. And obviously, same kind of situation as earlier. Orion providing magic penetration for your tank, for your healer mage, for your mage, and for your support healer. Dorian does do a little bit of damage, not too much, but good team overall. Let's try a couple other Aurora teams. That one wasn't too difficult to build. Still having Dorian in the back is tough. Having Jordan in the back is tough. This one's another fun one, and I'm starting to fall more and more in love with Lian. All right, so this is a good combo here. The reason why I like this one a lot is this is like the Dorian, Orion, Helios team, but a little bit more offensive, a little bit more damage output, a mage blender, if you will. Okay, you have solid pure damage and control with Lian. Everybody knows about the Orion Helios combo. Helios does a ton of damage as a mage, a ton of damage, but he has no armor. I'm sorry, he has no magic penetration. So you need a hero like Orion to provide magic penetration to your team. Otherwise, Helios is just kind of there to counter crits and be just sitting back there and being pretty. and if you're just sitting back there and being pretty and not providing effective output for your team, then not helpful. Helios is kind of difficult to getting him later on in the campaign. Same with Celeste. Aurora, Orion, and Lian are pretty easy. Lian you can get from the Grand Arena vendor, so not a difficult team to build. Probably a little bit more difficult to level up, given that you have so many intelligence heroes here. This one's going to be very expensive, very expensive. I like to have more of a varied team to have, a strength and agility and a couple of other. That's why I like Nebula in a lot of my teams, because your tank is usually a strength hero. Your Nebula obviously is an agility hero, and then you have one or two other heroes that are either intelligence, agility, or strength. So it's nice to spread out the love whenever you're trying to buy skins. It's really, really nice there. Let's talk about a Cleaver team. So obviously we're going to do Cleaver Peppy with this one. Cleaver Peppy, it's a very strong combo together. We're going to throw in Martha just for the classic. Okay, and then we have Orion and Jorgen. This is a good, solid, generic team, right? The power of Cleaver and Peppy by itself is incredibly effective, but you also have Orion boosting Peppy's magic penetration. Okay, and you throw in Jorgen for good measure. Jorgen for good measure doesn't really do a lot here. Maybe you put Nebula in there. Maybe you put, I don't know, somebody else in there. But this is a nice solid team. You could use Celeste, right? Expensive team. Peppy is late game. Martha can only be had from the chest. Celeste is late game campaign as well. And Cleaver obviously is straight from out of the chest. So another good team here. Very, very safe and easy. If you one of these that are built up is going to give enemies kind of fits because it's so basic and plain, but yet so effective. And then finally, Arcana gave me one more that I think was pretty fun. He said this one works on Facebook only, probably not so much on mobile, and that's because of the dodge changes that have come to Facebook. We have Judge. Where's Judge? I don't recommend building this one, but this one's kind of a fun one. Orion Faceless. Oh, Faceless is up here. I don't really recommend building this team, but it's kind of fun. Using Arachne as a main tank, Judge with a shield, Jorgen with his shield, and then you have a lot of damage output in the back here. Maybe you use Faceless to copy a shield as well. Well, I guess you can't, can you? Can't do that. So, a lot of great team opportunities. That's the point of this video. I started yesterday thinking about what in the world variety am I going to provide? Who am I going to talk about with Orion that will work out? That'll be decent and not just the static, Dorian, Orion, Helios team. And I was chatting with Arcana yesterday, like I said, and he provided. So thank you again for that list of teams. I feel like Orion can be built a number of different ways, but if you want to build Orion in a special way, ways to take advantage of his strengths are pairing him with a mage and mage supports and tanks that do magic attack skill damage, and you'll be effective. You'll be utilizing Orion to his fullest. So let me know in the comment section down below who you like to put with Orion. I know there's a couple of twins variants that use Orion. I know that there's a couple of other weird teams that plug Orion in. One of my favorites I'm going to do a whole other video on, kind of separate from this, just because I think it's a cool variant that not a lot of people are gonna try out, but still a good start. But let me know down in the comment section down below what you guys think of Orion, what teams you guys put him in. Stay tuned for more giveaways on my live stream. And by the way, I do live stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And yeah, we have a good time. We'll give away free stuff. We make fun of people. Not really. We don't make fun of people. We're not like that. But until next time, I love you all. Good luck in Dominion.